What's up, everybody? Welcome in. Thank you so much. Today is Friday, April 24th. This is the 39th day in a row of the income stream. Welcome in. Today, we're going to talk about yesterday, something cool that happened, and then I'll show you the results of that. Number two, I'm going to answer your questions. Number three, we might do a couple website reviews too, so stick around for those. And number four, let's just have some fun. Welcome to the income stream.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
Good morning, y'all. Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. We got Glenn in the house. Let's see, where's Glenn at? There's Glenn. We got Doug. We got Michael. Movie is starting, he says. That's awesome. I love that. What's up, Ellen? Great to see you here. Thank you so much. We got Aaron in the house. We got Xenia and Vlada. We got Vicky, O'Neill, Chris C. Free Spirit. Y'all are great. He or she says, and I 100% agree with that. Let's see. Weather Beard Supply Co. Looking forward to today's website breakdowns. Hey, hopefully you're looking forward to the beard too. Although I still got a lot to learn. Still got a lot to learn with that. Xenia and Vlada says, welcome to the income stream. The day has officially started, says Michael. What's up, Louie B? Coach Deb in the house. Thank you, Deb. I need to reply to your email, but I promise I'll get to it at some point. Welcome in, guys. So I woke up this morning to quite an amazing surprise, and I wanted to share that with you. And I'm going to go to my computer here and show you Chrome. And as you can see, this is the video that came out yesterday. So yesterday, I came on to do a live recording. So you were all there, or everybody who was here yesterday was watching me right in the middle of filming a YouTube video. I actually started it and completed it right there live yesterday. And I said, hey, it's going to come out later in the day. It took me a little bit of time because I had times with my accelerator students. I had... what else did I have? I had office hours and a couple other meetings too, so I couldn't get into it until the afternoon. But it took me about an hour and 20 minutes. I timed it, an hour and 20 minutes to edit down. Then I published it, and here are the results. It is currently, in terms of video performance, after 15 hours, the #1 viewed video in terms of velocity coming out of the gate with 5.1K views. It's up 121%, which is pretty cool. View time is down just a tad, not too terrible there. And then watch time is up 160%, 42 comments already. If I go to the video analytics, we'll be able to see sort of when I published it. So this was at hour 0. So this was at 4:43 p.m. And then as you can see overnight, it just shot up, which is pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Now I want to also go over some other numbers here in terms of if I could find them. Reach. Here we go. Traffic sources. Where's the one that I'm looking for? Well, browse features is 44%. Browse features means it's like the homepage, subscription feed, and those kinds of things. And I think the stat I can't find right now, but the one that's huge here is that only 30% of my subscribers have got the notification. Meaning 70% of the views are from people who are not subscribed to my channel. Sometimes YouTube will like a video that you come out with and pop it on other random people's browse pages, home pages, recommendations, if they feel like those people would like and enjoy that video. It's an amazing way to get new eyeballs and new people sort of into your brand. And so we've seen overnight, not just all these views, but we passed, like yesterday was the day we hit 333,000 subscribers, and we gained about 1,000 subscribers in one day, which is kind of crazy, kind of insane, and kind of cool. And I just want to thank you all for yesterday, because you being there live with me made it fun, made it exciting, made it real, right? Like I was talking to a real person on the other end like you, and you were there. So that was great. Thank you so much for that. I hope you enjoyed that. Just Samson in the house with a super chat. Thank you so much for that. Getting in the car, we'll be listening. We'll jump back in the chat on the second half. Appreciate you all. Appreciate you for being here and trying to stick around for your streak. 39 days in a row, my friend, which is really cool. So here's how today's going to go down. Number one, I'm going to answer a few questions, maybe 2 or 3. Then I actually want to go into Final Cut Pro. And I want to show you what the behind the scenes sort of final version of that video, the one that we did live it was a 30-minute recording, and I brought it down to 19 minutes after editing. I wanted to show you what the edited version looks like, and some quick tips and tricks. I've had a lot of people ask me, Pat, how do you edit a video in that style where you just hit record, you make a bunch of mistakes? Like, what's your workflow for editing? And I'm going to show you kind of quickly how I can do that. So maybe this is something that you can do too. I don't know. And it was a fun experiment to just show you like how vulnerable it is to and how weird it is to shoot a video. And hopefully it inspires you to take action. And as you can see, the results speak for themselves. I did not know this video is going to perform so well, although I did choose a topic that I wanted to make sure that was interesting to you to keep watching. And I think that helped because I didn't just choose a random topic. And number two, you being there really helped out. So thank you so much.
Bruh.
Amazing. Really, really stoked for that. So yes, I'll go into FCPX, Final Cut Pro X, in just a moment. But for right now, let me answer some questions for you. So here we go. Sukman says, Pat, can I create a website from Freelancer for sale my online course? I would recommend that if you're going to look into online courses or anything, I would always ask yourself, what if this were easy, what would it look like? What would be the simplest way to do that? And likely finding somebody on Freelancer or some other website to build a website from scratch and sell your online course there is likely going to be very difficult versus you are likely able to. Thank you for the super chat, Jim. I appreciate you. You could probably sell your course and get it together by putting it on a platform like Jim with a donation. I'm going to sneeze, by the way. Bro, okay. And thank you, Rafal, for the super chat as well. Daily, you're amazing. I would recommend using something like Teachable, which is already built, and it already has the mechanisms by which you can collect payments. It already has the ability for you to create a sales page for it. You can just focus on building your email list, for example, and getting connected with people who might be interested in buying that course. You don't even need to have a website in order to sell a course, to be honest. It can help, and obviously it can help you with blogging and search engine optimization and all those sorts of things, but it's not needed. And so probably the first step for you would be, well, let's determine what this online course is going to be. And let's outline it. Let's validate it. Let's talk to people about it first before we start building, right? Very common in business. You get excited about a business. What do? You make business cards. You get a logo. You get your social media accounts before you've actually spoken to any people in your niche who you're looking to serve. I would go the other way around. Truly focus on having conversations with your people so you can know what your solutions that you will be providing will be. And then you can turn your business into that, right? Does that make sense? Cool. All right. Let's see. By the way, Ern, welcome in. Thanks so much. We need the likes to match the views. It's Friday, so we don't want no bad news. So thank you again for being here. By the way, I go live every morning, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. That includes the weekends, so come in tomorrow. In the weekends, we do a lot more website reviews. We do about 5 or 6, and those are always super fantastic. We do have a like goal today of 200 likes, and we are already nearly halfway there, which is really cool. And if we get there, I'm going to give away at random to somebody here in the room who's still with us a signed copy of my book, Superfans. So that'll be really fun, and yeah, it'll be awesome. Karma in the house with a super chat that'll pop in here in just a minute. I want to say thank you to you, Karma, for all your support. I appreciate you. And hi, Lillian. Lillian, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching the show, too. My new favorite morning show. I love it. Thank you, Deb. I appreciate you. Hopefully your show is going well, too. There's Karma's donation. By the way, donations aren't required. There is no fee required, just like the song says. However, I will happily accept them and pass them through to those who are in need right now. In particular, the San Diego Food Bank, who is struggling right now. So I'm passing stuff their way. And last month we donated in March 1,000 meals, and we're already way past. I think we're way past like 3,000 meals at this point, or even more than that. I haven't even calculated it yet, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm glad you all enjoyed that video yesterday. Let's see. Amused Muse asks a question here, which I'll have to wait for it to kind of feed into Ecamm for me to display it for you. So hold on one sec. There it is. Do you still get the jitters before recording a video podcast without us watching, or does that go away after the first couple hundred times? Quite honestly, the jitters never go away, even before hitting record on a podcast where nobody's in the room with me, nobody's watching live. I still get a little nervous. I still procrastinate. I still will hover that record button and then try to find something else to do to just distract me, because I do get a little bit nervous. But when I catch myself, and I look for that every time. Actually, I wait for it, because that to me is a sign that I'm actually excited, that this thing is important to me, right? So that's good. I would be more nervous if I wasn't nervous, because that would probably mean I was too confident or cocky, and I don't want that to be the case. So being a little bit nervous, I find, is a good thing, and I do things that make me a little nervous so that I know that it's important, and I know that there's something great on the other end, which is often the case. And then when I hit record, it usually goes away. Like the moment I hit record, which is why in an upcoming video, I start talking about a woman named Mel Robbins. I don't know if you know who Mel Robbins is. If you're a fan of Mel Robbins, that's awesome. She's great. She wrote a book called The 5-Second Rule. And literally, the whole book could be summed up in one sentence. Count down from 5 and then go. Like literally, that's the strategy. You're going to wake up in the morning. Hey, that alarm's going off. Just count down from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and then you go. And I do the same thing when I record my podcast. Okay, Pat, stop messing around. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. And there you go. And that usually works really well, because after that initial start, I'm usually good. And I think I remember hearing Will Smith. Let me give you a little story time music here. I remember Will Smith telling a story one day while on a live show. I think it was Ellen, or I can't remember exactly. But he was telling a story about specifically what happens when you are skydiving, because he had just gone skydiving. I think it was the Yes Theory people who got him to do it, which was really crazy that they were able to do that. But Yes Theory is a great channel, by the way. Big shout out to those guys. Love to work with them one day. But Will Smith was talking about when he went skydiving. And when you go skydiving, you go up on the plane, and there's just so much fear, right? Like what's going to happen, and it's all built up in actually the most safest place you could be. You're safest when you're actually in the plane, when you're sitting down and you're with your people, and that's like the most fear happens in the safest time, right? But then as soon as you jump out the plane, that fear goes away, he says. It's just absolute bliss. You're free falling, when in fact that is actually the most dangerous moment in skydiving, right? Which, I mean, there's still safety, and they were tethered onto other people, and they had safety parachutes and all that stuff. But that was interesting to know that the place where there's the most fear was actually the safest place in the plane, just totally fine. And the place where there was the least amount of fear and the most happiness was the place where we would often think that there is the most fear, when you're actually free falling, which is pretty cool. So that's there's a big lesson there, and to me that just really means like get to that happy place, get started, right? Jump out that plane. Obviously you want to have safety in mind, but I think that's a interesting story that Will Smith told, which is a big lesson for all of us. Yeah, and I still get nervous before podcasts, before going on stage, before going live, before hitting record. It still happens. Cool. Michael says 3 seconds or 5 seconds. I think maybe 3 to 5 seconds usually works okay. All right, let me take you into. By the way, did you know that they canceled the spelling bee for the first time in like 70 years or something? Well, that's I'm giving them some love today. The spelling bee that they're canceled. So I'm a spelling champ. I shared this story with, let me tell you another thing that just the spelling bee reminds me of before I take you into Final Cut Pro. Then I'm going to do some website reviews. Then we'll do more Q&A. I saw Neil deGrasse Tyson, right? The people's astronomer. He shared a story that was really interesting to me during a graduation/commencement speech. Ashby, thank you so much for the super chat. That's going to pop up here in just a minute, which is really cool of you. Thank you so much for that. He was like, imagine a spelling bee. And this was in reference to sort of education and the way we treat, kids and answers and quizzes and all that stuff. Imagine a spelling bee. You go up there and you're judging, right? There is a student who comes up who spells the word cat. And this is how they spell the word cat. QZN. Cat. QZN. Completely wrong, right? Go sit down. You don't know how to spell cat. The next person comes up. Cat. KAT. Cat. Sit down. You're completely wrong. And the final person comes up. CAT. Cat. You're right. Yay. Well, both QZN, or whatever those 3 letters were, and KAT were treated similarly in how wrong they were, because you're either right or you're absolutely wrong. And KAT obviously was so much closer and just very, very close to being correct. Yet we treat those people who get KAT like they've gotten everything wrong. And that speaks to the idea of perfectionism, and that we have to realize that, especially for ourselves as we go through life, we got to remember that it's okay to get close to perfect, to close to the correct. You can still see progression in that, and it's not an absolute wrong when you are not absolutely right. You're not absolutely wrong if you're not absolutely right. So, QZN, yeah, maybe not the best speller in the world, and completely wrong. I agree with that. KAT, hey, you were really close. You're 1 letter off. Keep going. Next time, we'll try again. Maya says, as a former local spelling bee champ, no way, Maya. That's pretty cool. The cancellation breaks your heart. Yeah, I know, right? It's pretty crazy. Breaks mine too, because it's just so, like, those kids usually aren't the ones who are playing sports. Just general assessment. That's like their sport, right? And then to have that canceled too is just crazy. It's just crazy. Okay, let's go into Final Cut Pro. I want to show you the rundown. So here's Final Cut Pro, and this is what this final product looks like. So I'm gonna go and play this for you. I hope that this comes through. It should. That you never thought possible. And we're going to do all of this in just 15 minutes. That's right. One business idea per minute. But before we get to that, we need to talk about what is happening right now. Recent data has shown that unemployment is at an all. Okay, so the first thing I did here was I added some B-roll, or I added some images, and I made them move a little bit so that there's a little bit more visual movement there for the video. That was obviously not done yesterday when I recorded that video live in front of you. I think it's important to, at least in the first 2 to 3 minutes, stack as many additional movement items in your video as possible. These become pattern interrupts. These become something that can engage the audience. And essentially, they can just lay over the thing that you're already saying. It's also a great way to help break up the jumps. If you're worried about the jumps, you can actually connect the jumps a little bit better by not showing people the jumps, because you have other parts on top of that, which is sort of what happened there. So let me replay that for you just so you can see how that transition works. And then transitions, you know, there's fading, there's cross dissolve. I like to use the quick slide to go in there. Per minute. But before we get to that, we need to talk about what is happening right now. Recent data has shown that unemployment is at an echo. Sorry about that. You're probably hearing that through my mic. Okay, let me play it one more time and see if it echoes for you. One business idea per minute. But before we get to that, we need to talk about what is happening right now. Recent data has shown that. Was there an echo then? More echo. Strong. Still echo. Okay. Huh. Why is it doing that? Oh, well. I don't need to show you and play that. No, that was not on purpose. The echo is not on purpose. So I'll have to solve that, but I'm sure it's just a setting in here that I have to figure out. But anyway, I can still show you what's going on. So as you can see here, there's all these breaks, right? So in the middle, so the way I recorded was I did point number 1. I used Post-it notes. I still have my graveyard of Post-it notes from yesterday. I picked up Post-it number 1, which was one idea. I recorded it, just that one idea alone. That's all I was focusing on in front of you. And then I stopped. The recordings kept going though. And so what I do is then take that middle portion out between Post-it notes essentially, and I just squish them together. And the way that we do this is oftentimes I've seen on a lot of tutorials that the way that you want to pull parts from your imports or your videos are to do what's called the I/O trick. So as I go here, I can, for example, hit I, and then I can hit O, and then it'll take this clip and I can move it down and drag it in here like that. I don't actually do it that way. In fact, what I like to do is instead I like to go all the way and take the entire recording like this. There's likely a better way to select this. I'm just doing it live here with you. Oh, no. I think I can hit all, right? Anyway, here's what I do. I take the whole recording, and let me come to the end here, and then I'll hit. Let's pop it in here. So here's the whole recording, right? Let's just say this is the whole recording, one whole thing, mistakes and all. So what I would do is, and I could see this in the, I don't know if you could see this, but the audio here cuts out, and I can start to see a pattern of when it comes back in. So essentially what I can do is I can hit, I think it's Control B, and then I hit Control B again on the next part, Control B, and then I delete that, and then it squishes all those things together. And then what I'll do is I'll just hit play over and over again, just making minute details forward and backwards to be able to get it right so that it jump cuts perfectly in there for you. Yeah, that's so strange that it's coming through like that. Anyway, and then I'll go here, for example, Control B, Command B, boom, that gets squished together. Command B, Command B, that gets squished together. And so by the end of this, it just gets down so quickly, right? So Control B is the tool that I use in Final Cut Pro to essentially, it's the blade. So it's the blade that sort of cuts that moment in time. And every program's different, right? On ScreenFlow, it's Control T, or it's T actually, just regular T, no control for whatever reason, to essentially slice that thing in half right at that moment. And I slice it again in the future when I want to come back in, and I just take the middle part out, right? And so everything gets squished together. And in fact, you might think it doesn't provide for a good experience, but it actually provides for, in my opinion, a better experience. There's a lot of YouTubers here like Philip DeFranco who had gotten really popular by using that quick jump cut style, and that's how he keeps his stuff really engaged. I guarantee you that he doesn't film it all in one take. He does the news, he talks about a topic, then stops, probably does some research, goes back into it, and then while recording or while editing, he takes that middle part out. And it's just so quick how it moves. And that's different than how I used to do it, which was I would find the clip that I want and then drag and drop it to the timeline. Instead, I put it all in the timeline, and then I have the settings so that when you take the middle part out, it just kind of collapses everything together so that I can just take those middle parts out really quickly, and then it works from there. So hopefully that helps. Is there a YouTube channel course coming? There is not one that's coming anytime soon. However, it is one that we've discussed on the team before, which is pretty cool, and I am looking forward to getting to that at some point. Karma says all my videos are jump cut vids, right? And look at that, we just saw another 300 or 400 people watch our video that we came out with yesterday. And what I like to do is batch process the commenting as well here too. YouTube is also rolling out these sort of automated answers that you can have. For example, and this is YouTube. This is not vidIQ. This is not TubeBuddy. But you can see here it says, "Thanks, so nice of you, so nice of you. Nice videos, sir. Thanks. Awesome ideas. Thank you, Pat. You are so welcome." Right? Love that you kept the screw you. LOL. It needs to be said. I can hit like you're the best. Sorry, Vicky. This is. I would much rather go a little bit more personable. But I think that you actually are in the room right now as I answer your thing. But wonderful. And this one doesn't have one, but I just might say, thanks so much. I appreciate you. And so I batch process the answering of these replies because I can get a whole bunch of them done at the same time. Doing them as they come in could just ruin your day because it just can interrupt you. And once a day is really all you need. And I think that's really great. Hey Archer with a super chat, thank you so much. There's a couple more super chats that came in. There's one in particular that came in for 20, which is amazing, and thank you so much for that. I'm going to come up and give you some love here really quick. I'm going to find you. Jim, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Hi Pat, how can I get my running podcast ranked in Apple Podcasts? I'm over 300 downloads an episode and consistent. Some running podcasts that last upload are 4 years old are ranked at the top. Any suggestions? So thank you so much for that. Jim, for the super chat that comes in. It gets distributed to people who need that for food. So I appreciate you for that. Ashby also with a super chat from earlier as well. But let me answer this question for you. So Apple Podcast SEO is really interesting because it's mostly mysterious. It's not quite like Google where they're very open with all the variables and all the things that they look at to determine what ranks higher than others. There's a few things that we know though. When you have the keyword that you're looking for in your title and early on in your description, that definitely helps. When you mention your keyword in the titles and descriptions of your episodes, that works as well. And secondly, or thirdly, it takes time. It takes a lot of time. Not saying that you shouldn't be outranking these others, but it's based on a lot of things, including reviews and subscriptions. So it's just going to take some time. I would just consider, Jim, how you might be able to continue to get more reviews. Now, how might you get more reviews? The biggest, and reviews are a key factor in for sure. A great way to get reviews is to ask. But I wouldn't just ask on your podcast, and I wouldn't ask to even your social media accounts straight up. I would first start with a question that has me validate that a person did enjoy the show, and then I'd follow up directly with them and ask. This is by far the number one way that I've found works to get reviews, not just for your podcast, but if you have books or other things that ask for reviews, use this strategy. So I might go on Instagram, for example, and I might say something like, hey, give me a comment below if you listen to the podcast. Let me know what your favorite moment of the show has been so far. And you're going to get a whole bunch of people replying to you, and that could be really cool. And then every single person who replies back, I'm going to reach back out to them individually so that I can go, hey, Jim, I saw that you commented and that you listened to the show. I just wanted to thank you for that. By the way, if you had a quick moment, I would love if you, and it would help out so much if you could write a quick review on Apple Podcasts. That would help out tremendously. Thank you so much. And I would do that via video. So it's like a person receives that and goes, wow, you actually spent the time to shoot a video and thank me for listening to the show. That's amazing. And you'll get like a 60% take rate on that. And I would recommend trying that out and seeing what might happen. I also don't know if there are specifically sort of variables that Apple uses similar to Google in terms of people like impressions and then click-through rates for searches. So if you had people look for your podcast, for example, and then scroll down to find it because it's not ranking high yet, and then click on it, it might trigger. We don't know if this is true yet, but it might trigger like, people actually want this show versus the other shows. So it's one of those things that's still very mysterious, still takes a little bit of time, but it is that like we're starting to understand a little bit more, Jim. I wish I had a better answer for you, like, hey, do this one trick and it's going to work for you, but it doesn't work like that. And yeah, hopefully that helps. Francis with the super chat coming in from Tokyo, midnight in Tokyo. Thank you so much for that, Francis. I appreciate you, my friend. There you are down there. Awesome. Keep up the good work. Trigger Beats. Thinking of helping biz coaches with Zoom Live and other ongoing tech services, integrated calendars, email, etc. What's a good approach on warm outreach for this type of service? So very similar, right? I would get into either a Facebook group or some community or wherever where you know these people exist. And then I would share up front my best tip. Hey, for all you coaches out there, this is one trick that I learned. I help people do this, and I just wanted to share this with you publicly. Boom, use this special calendar trick. It reduces the amount of time you need to do this by like 15 minutes a day, and hopefully that's helpful for you. And then just get a lot of people sort of responding to that, right? And then I'd come out with another one and go, hey guys, you all responded really well to that other tip. I have a whole bunch of these other tips. I'm actually going to be going live and showing people sort of live a lot of these kinds of tricks and tips. Like if that's something you'd be interested in, let me know. If not, then I'm not going to do it. Let me know in the comment section below. And now you're getting people going, yes, like I want more, like awesome. I love that video. Like if you have more tips and tricks, like I'd love to see it. That'd be awesome. And then I'd reach out to those people individually and go, hey, by the way, like here's the link to go and register to find me. Here's like where you can get access to that Zoom call that I'm going to be going live. I didn't want to post it in the group because I wanted to be respectful to the founder there. I'm not, I don't want to use that group, but you are using it, but you're also doing it in a way that you're providing value. Are you all following how I'm approaching this versus what a lot of people do is they go into a group where their target audience is and they go, click here or look at me. And that's not how it is because as you've heard me say before, right? The social media world is sort of like a party. If you go to a gym and there's a party happening in a gym, not like a gym, but like a school gym, just so that we can all be in the same place, there's going to be clusters of people, right? Sort of around. And when you go into those clusters of people and you go, hey, my name's Pat, like, you want to buy my Tupperware? Like, that's always going to be not be received very well. That's what it's like going into those groups. You need to go in and participate in those conversations, listen for a little bit and go, yeah, hey guys, my name's Pat. I actually know a little bit about that. Like, here's a trick I learned. And you're providing value when you're in there, right? And so then when you provide value and you can share a little bit of your expertise or some tips and tricks, then you're going to actually have people turn around and ask you, hey, tell me more. Like, who are you? You're amazing. Like, come in here. Like, then you get invited to the party and into that circle a little bit. That's exactly how Tim Ferriss started his career. So he was writing a book called The 4-Hour Workweek, but he didn't go to bloggers and go, hey guys, check out this book. He went to conferences. He's told this story before, even on my podcast. He went to conferences and he tried to become so interested in what all these other people were doing. Now, he was very selective of who he would be trying to associate with, but instead of having the focus be on him, he wanted to focus so hard on what they were doing. And I once heard, I think it was James Schramko who said that, stop trying to be so interesting and start getting interested, right? Stop trying to be so interesting and start getting interested. Because when you get interested in other people's stuff, those people are going to want to be interested in what you have going on. And so those people turned around and said, hey, Tim, like, you've been really helpful and like such a great listener. Like, what do you do? Oh, well, I'm writing this book called The 4-Hour Workweek, and it's about how to like reduce the amount of work that you do and how to automate a lot of your business. And this is what I do. This is what I love. This is how I live. Really? Are you serious? Wait, tell me more about that. Hey, we need to get you on my show to talk about this with others because it's so fantastic. And I want to promote this book for you. So you see how that goes. It's very much a longer process, but it's almost like you're digging the well before you're thirsty, right? Versus digging the well while you're thirsty, in which case you're probably too late. There was a question here from Scooby Life, sorry. Scooby-Doo. It is related to dogs, though, so I didn't see it. I just remembered the Scooby part of it. Hey, Pat, tell us about Tuesday's Traffic Booster course. So if you are on my email list, you will have gotten an email about a Traffic Booster workshop. And this is a way for us to provide a quick solution, a boost, essentially, for a big problem that a lot of my target audience has without having to spend 3 months, which we don't have the time to do, to create a full-on course about it. And so what this does is having it in a 90-minute to 2-hour period to teach something like how to get more traffic and build an audience allows us to just inject that really quickly into you and what you're doing. And it's for a much lower price than our courses too. We're running it at $99. If you get in now, it'll be $149 later. We're going to be selling the replay for $149. And so that is a really good workshop that you're going to learn some strategies that you can use to understand how you can best get traffic to your website and get exposure for your stuff like podcast or YouTube channel or what have you. And it'll go through a number of exercises. It's sort of a sequence of things that we do to continue to stack onto each other to help you get more traffic and more exposure for your business and blog. So hopefully that helps if you've been considering it. And we wanted to provide it at a much lower price than our courses because a lot of people can't afford the courses right now, which we totally understand, but we still wanted to provide something helpful. The reason it's not completely free is because we wanted to experiment with, well, how much better the results might be should a person put some skin in the game on this? And how much more valuable would it be perceived if it actually had a dollar value to it? We know that people are going to get their money back for it, but we wanted to experiment with that because we've been giving a lot away for free too. Plus, it helps pay for the resources for the team and for the hosting and for everybody to put it together too. So cool. How are we doing on goals, by the way? So we are 59 away, as far as I see it right now, from our light goal, 200, where I'm going to give away a free copy of my book, Superfans, signed, sent your way. It might take like a month or two to get there because of times, but we will collect your address and we will send it your way free of charge, and that's going to be something that will be given away for free if and only if we get to 200. Happy Friday, by the way, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good time. And then Sunday, I want to make Sunday more of a fun day. Not that these aren't fun. Hopefully you're all having fun being in here. But I wanted to have Sunday be, we'll play some games during Sunday. I have a game in mind that I want to experiment with on a Zoom call or a live stream like this. This is not Zoom. This is YouTube Live, by the way. And no, I'm not streaming through Zoom. I'm streaming directly to YouTube via Ecamm Live. And I want to have some fun. So Sunday, fun day. That'll be sort of more casual. I was going to make casual Fridays I was gonna make Friday the casual day, but I think people are still in work mode and we're still getting stuff done today. I wanted to provide some value here for you. Not that Sunday won't be value. I'll still do website reviews, but we're gonna play some games in the beginning to have some fun too. So look out for that. Cool. Let's get into some. You know it. It's that time. It's that time, y'all. I think it's time. Time for website reviews. Pop it in the chat, your URL. We're gonna have some fun. So the way this works is you'll pop your URL in YouTube. However, you have to do it in a way where you're not actually writing the entire thing out. If you can feed it through, that's sort of filter number one. I won't be able to select everybody, obviously, but I will select 2 today at random, and then we're gonna do a website review. I do them for about 3 minutes each, and then we'll do a few more Q&A before we finish up here today. And they usually go for a little bit longer. It's like 3 to 5 minutes, but I do have a timer here that I actually have to reset because yesterday I made the timer 1 minute, and I need to make it, where is it? I need to make it 3 minutes, 2, 3. No, that's 2 hours. That's crazy. There we go, 3 minutes, and I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller, and I'm gonna pop it right there on my mug. Cool, plus I can't do it with these glasses on because I literally can't see anything. So, let's pop up some websites and see what happens. So I'll pull these up at random as I'm gonna write 2 down that I see right now on my trusty notebook. No, that's that's from Blue's Clues. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. Y'all remember Blue's Clues? There's been like 3 Steves or something like that. Okay. Okay, I got 2. We're gonna pop the first one up here and see if it comes up first. Cool, here we go. So we got everyday experiential. Everyday experiential. Love the colors, by the way. Looking forward to reviewing this. Thank you so much for that. Who was that, by the way? That was Joanna, I believe. Joanna, you're awesome. Thank you for being here, by the way. Yeah, cool. So let's get into this. Here we go. 3 minutes. Oh yeah, it's funny. I put the thing on the mug and then it's not even there. Let me go back and just move it to the corner. That's funny. It's not going to show up on the mug because there we go. Put it in the bottom right-hand corner there because we go to the website view. That's funny. Okay. Everyday experiential. Here we go. Learn how to deliver lasting impact with your brand experiences. Take the course. So this is a course, it seems. Love the website. Beautiful images. Love the smile. Very inviting. Love the sort of way the website pops up. It makes me want to scroll down, see more. So overall, beautifully designed, made with Squarespace. Fantastic. Let's see. I have a few more comments already that I want to share, but okay, good. About you, fantastic. This image is like you looking down to your text, which is cool. Joanna holds a bachelor's degree in advertising and spent her. So this is in third person, which is really interesting, right? Now I'm curious. It's not a bad thing to do it in third person, an about page, but if you are, for example, a personal brand, if you're a coach, or if you're somebody like that, it can often come across a little bit less personable if you don't direct it in first person and direct it to the person reading on the other end. So we might experiment, for example, with going first person. And also, like, this is very common with about pages too, so don't worry, but I'm gonna give you some help here. It starts by talking about you. And that's seemingly like the thing you should do on an about page, right? But an about page is actually not about you. It's actually about what you can do for the person on the other end. And I see that you start here with your qualifications. That's like phase 2. There's actually a tutorial on YouTube here about how to create the perfect about page. And it really starts with language that connects with your target audience, right? Because they've come here. You want to continue to further sell them on what you can do for them here. And then once they're like, oh yes, this sounds great, now you can introduce yourself, your credibility, and all this great stuff that you have here. So the copy here is fantastic. I love that you're also very open about the fact that like you're an introvert and a people watcher by nature. I think that kind of stuff is really key because you can start to understand a little bit more about a personality of a person. And that's very unusual, right? Because we often like to, we might worry about like sharing those kinds of things, but you've probably heard me say before, you need to put some personality into your brand because those are the kinds of things people connect to. And I think that's great that you have that there. Dedicated the bulk of the last 15 years to understanding the ins and outs of experiences from theater to marketing, music, and beyond. Equal parts experience navigator, master list maker, and seasoned event professional. So this is for business owners, correct? If I go back to the, by the way, you can also build an email list from your about page. One of the smartest things I did, thanks to Derek Halpern, who gave me this advice, was put in opt-in forms on my about page. They're there because they're even more interested, so that way they're even more warm, so that way they're gonna be more likely to subscribe. So don't let them have to find a way to subscribe on the pages that they have essentially voted that they're more interested in you about. So on your about page, put an opt-in form at least. Lasting impact with your brand experiences. So that is still, I mean, it's not as general as some of the examples we've seen here before, but I still think we can go a little bit further, right? Your brand experiences. What does that mean? Does that mean with me experiencing how I build my business, or is it so that my customers feel a certain way? For example, I'm missing the benefit here. What is the benefit of making a lasting impact with my brand experiences? Maybe there's a parenthetical underneath that says, so your first time customers become customers for life. Boom, now I'm like, that's exactly what I want, right? So that's just an example. I don't know if that fits within your language or if I'm actually targeting the right audience here in saying that, but it's like learn how to deliver lasting impact with your brand experiences and turn your first time customers into lifelong, or turn your first time customers into lifelong customers or something like that. How to turn people who just found you to people who can't stop thinking about you or what have you, right? Because I know from writing superfans that largely turning a person into a superfan is based on experiences. So just a thought there for you. I don't know if that makes sense. Joanna says, sorry, I'm not responding to y'all, but I'm just taking notes. And then of course, all of you can essentially vouch for what I'm saying, or if you have other ideas, share them as well. Joanna, you can always come back in here in the chat later. It actually does carry over into the replay, which is really cool. I'm going to keep going here because we are only doing 2 today, and this is really great. So the other thing that I want to share is that the first thing you want me to do is take the course, which is quite a big ask. You're almost asking me to marry you right from the first date, right? Which is why if you're going to ask me to marry you, you better say some things that impress me and have me understand that you are the one for me. Which is why we talked about the language here and trying to get a little bit further into what is in my head and what I actually really want to have happen. So if you are going to drive people to the course as your first call to action here, then you have to have some really strong language to help me understand that that's the right thing. But at the same time, it still could be a little too early. So take the course. Is it a free course? In which case, maybe now I'll be more interested, but what's the course about? The course, but you haven't referenced a course yet. Is Everyday Experiential the course? I'm not sure. I'm going to hit that. And that, okay. So now we're talking about events now. I didn't know this was specifically about events. Maybe Everyday Experiential is about events. Learn how to turn your online and offline events into memorable moments that convert your first-time customers into lifelong fans. Just an idea, right? But now that I know this is about events, build audience relationships beyond data. Yeah, we just need to get a little bit more specific with what it is we're offering here. And then here on Teachable, which is great, transform your events into memorable experiences. Take the course. Forget about events that just look cool and produce good photos. Create meaningful in-person experiences for your audience. Make them feel like your brand is a friend. Whoa, that is all I love. Make them feel like your brand is a friend. I mean, that's language that should end up on here. Learn how to deliver a lasting impact that makes your brand feel like a friend to your audience. Or so, it could be wordsmithed a little bit better. Wordsmithed. I'm not obviously the person to go to for that. See here, now you're in first person. Hi, I'm Joanna, your experienced navigator. I love that. I've been obsessed with the minute details that make great experiences my entire life. My superpower is understanding people in a digital world, the ability to bring people together in a meaningful way. As a small business owner, so now I know you're targeting small business owners, you don't have the luxury of creating an event that doesn't build a tribe. I can help. Man, so the language on the sales page, in my opinion, is much better than what I see on the homepage. I would carry a little bit of that over. But might there be an interim experience, for example, that you'd want to offer your people? Maybe it's a quiz. I think a quiz, Joanna, would work really well. Hey, take the brand experience quiz. See how connected you actually are to your audience. And then you can use a tool like outgrow.co to have people answer a few questions and then spit out the answer. You have a lot more room to have better experiences with your audience. Here are the articles I recommend, or actually, in fact, take my course that'll help you be able to do all these things that you got the wrong answer about, right? So I think a quiz might be a better date before you ask me to marry you with the course, if that makes sense. Cool. So hopefully you're getting some value from that. Joanna, I wish I could spend more time with you on that, but I want to get to another person here. By the way, like goal, where are we at? Over here, 200. We're about 40 away. There's over 200 people watching live. So if you just hit the like button, we'll get there, and I can give you a free copy of Superfans to somebody at random here if we hit that goal. So fantastic. I love that. Just trying to think. Yeah, it's great, Joanna. I'm getting a little picky here, but I think that you have all the necessary things. We just need to put them in all the right places. And then again, I think a quiz could be a really cool thing for you to help people understand like how much more they could provide to their audience. That would be really cool. Okay, let's go to the next one here. All right, we got Coach Deb in the house. Coach Deb. Beautiful image. Love how it's just great with a blurred background so you could read the text here, which is often the case. I worry a little bit often about using busy images because then you can't read the text very well, but this is totally read fine, and you have some nice sort of background here on the tagline as well. Cool. Just really quick look over client testimonials, which are great. That's another thing that you could have used, Joanna, client testimonials. I didn't go all the way into your sales page, but yeah, your sales page doesn't have, I see some quotes, but I don't see any testimonials. Definitely have some testimonials. That's proof that if a person's interested and then they're going, I don't know if I should work with this person or not. Proof from other people, social proof, just like Deb has here. And you have a couple spots, actually. And it's so important, as you can see, Deb, who is an experienced business owner, I know her very well. She has had these things pretty high on her page, which is cool. And you can see her about stuff is a little bit lower. Client testimonials, fantastic. Okay, so the first thing I want to know, Deb, and I'm going to pop the thing here, is what's the first thing you want me to do? I'm a little bit confused on what your primary motive here is. Not you as a coach. I know what it is you're helping people with, which is what it's clear on, right? Consulting on social media strategies since the days of MySpace. Hashtag she's that old. I love the personality in there. You see how just in a few small characters, we can already get a sense of like a little bit of, poking fun of herself, but also just that she's with the times with the hashtag, etc. Automate your brand online using proven strategies, system, and software. I'm curious if these things can be flipped, right? The bold one, the first thing you want people to see, automate your brand online using proven strategy, system, and software. That's like the hook. That is what you do. That's what I'm going to get if I'm here. Why isn't that first? And then you're almost supporting that with, by the way, I've been doing this since the MySpace days, hashtag I'm that old, right? Or she's that old. I don't care that's actually not so bad that that's in third person because it's so short. You're not actually speaking. It's just more, tagline title sort of situation. But I think those things might be able to be flipped, which is really interesting. But I don't know what you want me to do first. There is an opportunity here for a button somewhere, maybe right even down below, or start here, or get my free guide to help, or take this quiz or what have you. Quizzes are becoming very popular, by the way. Luke says, this is a random comment. Let's hope I win the book. So let's see. Meet the coach who predicted social media revolution for marketing and advertising and business, giving her clients the first mover advantage, as featured in. I think that this section can be tightened and short, like so much thinner, and still do the same thing. I mean, it's taking up so much room. I would love to have the ability to see more sooner, because there isn't actually a lot of text up here that, and again, the thing that bothers me most is just, what do I click on? Where do you want me to go first? I'm confused. Is it to dial your number? Is it to hire you? Is it to get something that we can build a relationship off of first to then get me sort of to want to become a client? Also, Coach Deb, I know you're great on video. Where is your video on here? If you're a coach, you have to have a video or some sort of multimedia that people can get into right on the homepage, in my opinion, because if you want people to hire you, they want to hire you. And the best way for people to get to know you and the way that you work and a taste of what you could offer them is you need to show up on video. And I don't know if you have that. Maybe it's on your About page. I know you're great at video. And it's just sad that I don't see it here. I really want to see it. I see a video down here, but it's in the footer. Meet Coach Deb. Again, similar comments to Joanna. Like, use your About page to sell your services versus just talking about yourself. And you start with, again, something that was shared on the homepage. And again, that's huge. The fact that you sort of coined something. It would be more powerful if you had a quote from a newspaper or a quote from somebody really high up that said that for you versus you saying it yourself. I'm just saying that. It's still very powerful, but it would make more of an impact if it was coming from somebody else. But again, I would love to see a video here and you're so personable. You connect very easily when you're in person and on video with people. Why isn't that here? I'm so curious. And again, what's the primary motive? What do you want me to do first? How can we start building this relationship online before, I hire you, for example? So those are some quick comments. Thank you. Yes, just adding video is brilliant. Let me keep going here. I gave Joanna a little bit more time. I want to give you some more time too. Reviews. So, I mean, look at this. You got Mari Smith, who's huge in social media. And I know you help with social media, which is like your thing, hence the hashtags. I think that branding and your personality shines on here. And I think it could be doubled down with video or some audio. I also know you do a lot of podcasting as well. Like, look at this. Like, so many amazing people have said some great things about you. But even in the navigation menu, like, how do I start working with you? Like, do you want me to the only thing I see that I can do further beyond being here is, number one, I have a little tiny phone number at the top, which is often a big friction item. Number two, send me this report, which is interesting because the report then takes me, this link down here to the report takes me to the contact page. Ready to get started? Just drop a note or give a call. So I want to see, get started with what? What if I fill in this form or call you is going to happen? Shoot me a note. I'll reply within 24 hours, and then I will, we'll give you, I'll chat with you for 10 minutes to see if this is a good fit so that I can help you grow your social media channel. Like, what is the end result of working with you, Deb? You're very qualified. That is so obvious when you come here, which is a huge part of the process, right? We need to show proof. You have experience here. I know a little bit of your personality now. I see these other amazing people saying these great things about you, Deb. But what am I hiring? What am I getting on the other end of this? You are my guide, right? But for what? What is the ultimate outcome of us working together? That needs to be here. That needs to be on the homepage with a button to go click here to have a 15-minute consultation call with me, or whatever the call to action is, maybe an application process to work with you or what have you, or some quiz that I can take to then have you collect my email address so that you can start following up with me and giving me exactly what I need. We need a call to action in there. Also, the other thing, this is just a little pet peeve of mine. I worry a lot about, and this isn't just you, this is everybody, and just in general, when you use images with arrows, you got to be careful, because where does my eye go here? We just as people, by the way, I'm getting a super chat just showing up on the screen. I apologize about that. Let me pop that up so it goes away. Thank you for that super chat, by the way. Who was that, Paxius? Or thank you so much for that. Where did that go? Paximus, thank you for that. Can you review PaximusEnterprise.com? I won't be able to do that today because we're at the end here, but I'll be able to do that tomorrow if you come in and you remind me, since you gave me that super chat. The arrows go to where my eye goes, meaning like the arrow. Why is it on there? Is that camera? That's weird. Okay, let me turn that off. So arrows, you want to use them to your advantage to point to the call to action that you want people to do. So this arrow up here points up here, right? And I remember even seeing an arrow on a podcast artwork once that pointed like to the left. And it always made me look at the podcast on the left, not the actual podcast that had that icon on it, which was so funny. But yeah, just be careful about arrows and where they point to, right? If they're going to be used, at least point in the right direction, right? So maybe it's going to point down, but we don't want to point it down, right? Because of that. By the way, we are like 2 likes away from our like goal, by the way. So we're really close. We got 4 minutes to get that. So we'll see. Yeah. So and then on this page, the contact page, like you need to sell me, Deb. You need to sell me on what it like. Okay, I give you a note or give you a call. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's the benefit? What's going to be life for me like on the other end of this? And yeah, hopefully that helps. So Coach Deb, thank you so much. And there we go. So hey, we got to 202. Thank you so much for that. And that's great. So Diana says, interesting point. See what you did there. So yeah, we got our like goal today, which is great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip to this camera. And I'm going to move this around so you can see, in fact, this is a whole collection of comments. So you have about 30 seconds to leave a comment before I select. So I'm going to scroll through like this, literally at random while looking at you. And wherever it ends up, that's where we're going to go. So I'm here at the bottom now. So blah, 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 random comment, doobie-doobie-doo. Arrows can really be issues. Genius, says Coach Deb. Cool. We got to the goal. So if I call your name, send an email to pat@patflynn.com. And my assistant, Jess, will be expecting that. And then we'll get your address and go from there. And we're going to send them out probably in a couple weeks because we just aren't sending them out one at a time to be aware and safe during this time. And you know what I mean. So it'll come your way. It's not going to come right away, but it'll come in. All right. Let's go up and down, up and down, up and down. We're at the top. I'm going to scroll down and let go. Look at that. Francis Taylor, pick me. I love it. And that's not even, that was in reference to, I think a website thing. Not, look at all the comments coming through. Legit, there's like 1,300 comments, which is crazy. So Francis Taylor, thank you so much. Shoot an email to pat@patflynn.com and we'll get you hooked up with a free copy of Superfans, signed by me. Hey, y'all, thank you so much for coming in today. I appreciate you. If you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, if you haven't hit it yet, that'd be awesome. Hit that bell notification icon so that YouTube lets you know when new videos come out. And hit that like, too, if you haven't already, because that allows more people to see this who normally wouldn't find it. And again, thank you, Team Flynn. You're amazing. Team Flynn for the win. Make sure you remember this link as well, which is patflynn.com/theincomestream, so that you can always remember where to go every single morning, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, 4 or 5 p.m. in the UK, something like that. Just looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. We're going to have some fun. We're going to do a lot more website reviews. You're amazing. Keep up the good work. Cheers. Take care. And as always, Team Flynn for the win. Peace.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
I don't know what I'm doing. Peace and love, y'all. Stay safe. Stay inside. Love you. Bye.